I can still hear the knife scrape against the plate, the clinking of glasses, the shallow laughter that always filled my parents' dining room on Thanksgiving. Then my father's voice split through it all, raw, sharp, final. "Get out! You're a disgrace, single mom, failure, not welcome at my table." The room went silent. My sister smirked into her wine. My mother dropped her eyes like she'd rehearsed this moment for weeks. My brother whispered something to his wife, both of them chuckling behind their hands. I stood. No tears, no begging, no explanations. Just one word, calm and clean as glass breaking. "All right," and I walked out. They thought they'd banished me. What they didn't know was that I owned the house they sat in, the cars they drove, the trust funds their children drained every month. They were living on the bones of the empire I built while they spit on my name. It wasn't always like this. Once I believed family meant loyalty. I paid their bills quietly when the market crashed. I covered hospital expenses when my sister's husband gambled away their insurance. I even bought that house my father now presided over like a king. It was easier to put it all in their names. They liked the illusion of power, and I liked the silence of being underestimated. But the silence was never enough for them. They needed someone to bleed, and tonight they chose me. I noticed the shift months before. My father's jabs growing harsher, my mother avoiding my calls, my siblings gossiping behind polished smiles. It wasn't about me being single, it was about control. My existence embarrassed them because I didn't play the role they wrote for me. Obedient daughter, grateful dependent. They wanted me smaller, and I let them believe I was. Because in truth, I was building something they could never touch. By the time Thanksgiving came, my mind was already made up. When he screamed, "Get out!" he handed me my moment. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. Why? Because anger makes you sloppy. Silence makes you dangerous. I drove away that night with my son sleeping in the back seat, his small hand curled around his toy dinosaur. I looked at him through the rearview mirror and promised myself, this ends now. The next morning, I opened my laptop. Dozens of pending transactions glowed on the screen. My father's business loans, my sister's tuition fees, my brother's mortgage, all running through accounts I controlled. One by one, I canceled them. Click, click, click. Cold, clean precision. Then I called my lawyer. Power of attorney? Revoked. Property deeds? Shifted back into my name. Trust funds? Frozen. By noon, my family's entire financial lifeline had flatlined. The first call came from my mother. "Darling, there's a problem with the bank." I hung up. Then my father, furious, spitting fire. "What the hell have you done?" I let it ring out. By evening, my phone buzzed like a hornet's nest. 26 missed calls. 12 voicemails. My sister crying about eviction. My brother begging about foreclosure. My father roaring threats that cracked into desperation by the fifth message. I didn't answer a single one. Instead, I packed. Quietly. Deliberately. Sundresses, documents, my son's favorite books. When dawn broke, we were on a flight to Honolulu. The beach house I'd bought 3 years ago waited, sunlight pouring across white walls, ocean stretching endlessly beyond the windows. My son ran barefoot into the sand, laughing, free. And for the first time in years, so did I. They thought I needed their approval, their table, their crumbs of love. But the truth was brutal and simple. They needed me. And now, without me, they were nothing. Weeks later, my father finally got through. His voice was broken, gravel worn down to dust. "Please, come home. We didn't know." I almost laughed. Of course they didn't. That was the point. "I am home," I told him, and hung up. That night I stood on the balcony, the ocean roaring beneath me, my son asleep in the next room. I thought about every insult, every dismissal, every time they called me unworthy. And I realized something. They hadn't rejected me. They had revealed themselves. I didn't need revenge to punish them. I only needed to stop saving them. They'll regret it forever. Not because I destroyed them, but because I walked away. And when I did, I took their future with me. Now, all they have is each other.